showers around our area won't last long. I'm tracking the chance for scattered severe storms later this evening. We'll talk about how much rain we'll get.
Stronger anti-vaping bill. Students from our state meet with lawmakers to discuss nicotine laws. Their goals for the meeting and the bill they hope passes. Data center drama. Another county has approved rezoning land for potential development. The community criticism and how the facility could affect local resources.
A cold front approaching our area is bringing a few scattered showers. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levingood. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The thing is, they won't last long, but we have a chance of storms this evening. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at the timeline. Walk us through it, Elizabeth.
So we have this cold front that's back to our west, and out ahead of it, the models keep showing the potential for a little bit of light rain, or at least they did earlier. The very latest runs of the models don't show that because, as you can see, none of it's happening. So it does look like potentially as that front moves into our area later this evening that it will produce some scattered showers and thunderstorms. And we do still have a level 1 risk for severe weather across our region. So we're going to be watching for that very closely. Here's a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. Nothing showing up in our viewing area, at least just yet. And of course, Futurecast shows a little bit of rain to our north. This is noon. This is 1 o'clock. This is 3 o'clock. And we stay dry, dry, dry. A little bit of sunshine could break out right before sunset. And if it does, it would help to energize the atmosphere just a little bit. But there's 8 o'clock, and potentially between 10 and 11, we get a few little cells that begin to pop up. Some of those, it wouldn't be out of the question. It could bring some gusty winds. Maybe 1 or 2 of those would knock down a tree or so. But it's just not going to be very much rain, and most of us won't even see it. We do still have that level 1 risk for severe storms. I know a lot of people were hoping for some rain on their yards and their gardens, and this system just continues to disappoint, unfortunately, along those lines. It is a little breezy. We have a south wind at 11. Our temperature is 65, and we could, with a few breaks in the clouds, late afternoon, climb up to 75, and then we'll have that chance of some thunderstorms later on this evening. We can look ahead to Saturday. That's our next best chance of rain. We'll talk about what the timeline and amounts could be with that coming up.
The one time we want a lot of rain and we don't get it right away. Get it together, weather. Okay, so as Elizabeth has been talking about for some days now, we are getting rain today, but not enough to end the drought. We need 10 to 12 inches of rain in about a month's time. Falls Lake is expected to get 1/4 of an inch in the next 7 days, and you can follow our rain totals on the WRAL weather app. You can download it for free and then plan ahead for severe weather anytime. But make sure you turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather where you are.
I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center right now. Former FBI Director James Comey is expected to surrender to authorities sometime this afternoon and appear in federal court as we have this live look here outside of the courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. Again, he was expected to do this at some point this afternoon for his first initial appearance. Comey was indicted just yesterday here in North Carolina on 2 counts related to threats against the president for a 2025 Instagram post of seashells that displayed 8647. The 2-count indictment charges Comey with knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon President Trump and with transmitting a threat in interstate commerce. Comey says the image of the message 8647 in the sand was innocent and plans to fight the charges. Right now, we don't know at what exact time he's expected to appear in court. As you can see, there is a live camera, a live look outside the courthouse waiting for his appearance. We'll keep you updated here in the Live Center.
Laura, thank you. Happening now, a renewed push to raise the age to buy tobacco products in North Carolina to 21. State lawmakers held the news conference aimed at protecting youth from vaping and nicotine. WRAL's Flynn Snyder was there. He joins us live from the state legislative building. Flynn, this is an effort that's come up before.
Renee, supporters first stood here over a year ago when the bill was first introduced. Now students met with lawmakers today to push for the changes. The bill would raise the minimum age to buy tobacco products in the state to 21, aligning with North Carolina with federal law. Right now, that state minimum is 18. It would also establish a tobacco sales permit for retailers that supporters say will help strengthen enforcement. The bill is called Solly's Law, named after Solomon Wynn. He was a 15-year-old who loved ones say was healthy and died after developing a vaping habit. Today, Wynn's stepmother, along with bill sponsor Republican Representative Donnie Loftus, renewed their calls to pass this bill, which has stalled in the House. I asked him about the apparent lack of progress.
And what more needs to be done to get this across the finish line?
All of these groups have some stake in the game that they want their protected status or class protected. We're past that. We have to figure out what is good for the young people of North Carolina. So I think that's part of the delay.
So Loftus went on to say that these products are becoming increasingly dangerous. Meanwhile, House Speaker Destin Hall told us that this bill is not something that's been widely discussed among caucus members. Flint Sider, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Flynn, thank you. Our WRAL documentary team interviewed Solly's mom in the documentary Gen V, Teen Vaping in North Carolina. Our team also talked to teenagers, health experts, and went undercover to see if stores check IDs before selling vapes in the Triangle. You can watch it on WRAL's YouTube page when you get a chance. Today, state lawmakers will consider putting a pause on property reappraisals across the state. Senate Leader Phil Berger says the bill could bring relief to taxpayers as home values rise. Local officials worry it could hurt their ability to pay for services while their populations are growing. This comes as Republicans in the state house are pursuing separate legislation addressing property taxes.
Right now, we are waiting to see if Governor Josh Stein will approve a Medicaid funding bill. Lawmakers gave final approval of the $319 million plan last night, and it fully funds the program. Debate in both chambers focused on a provision in the bill related to immigrants. It could prevent more than 20,000 legal immigrants from accessing health care they would normally qualify for, and most of these people would be women.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we're staying on top of that breaking news out of London that we first reported on early this morning. 2 people were stabbed, and now police say that they're investigating this as an act of terrorism. This is the latest headline. They now say that 2 Jewish men were stabbed and injured on a London street this morning, and with police again calling an act of terrorism. Police arrested a 45-year-old man on suspicion of attempted murder. Now, the Metropolitan Police said the attack left 2 men ages 34 and 76 hospitalized with those knife wounds. Counterterrorism police are now investigating whether the stabbings are linked to other recent arson attacks on synagogues and other Jewish sites in the British capital. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he says that the attacks on our Jewish community are attacks on Britain, I should say. They're taking this very seriously.
Laura, thank you. New right now at noon, a years-long criminal case against a pharmaceutical company, Purdue Pharma, is over, and the company will no longer exist. In a sentencing hearing, a federal judge ordered Purdue Pharma to pay $225 million. The opioid maker pleaded guilty in 2020 to 3 federal criminal charges related to the illegal marketing and distribution of OxyContin. Purdue Pharma will also dissolve and transfer assets to a new entity that will provide treatments to combat the opioid crisis. Hundreds of thousands of people have died from opioid overdoses since 1999.
Nick Reiner is expected in court today in a key hearing on the murder of his parents. Legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found stabbed to death in their California home. That was back in December, you may recall. Well, today a judge will get to decide if there is enough evidence on the prosecution's end to move this double murder case to the trial stage. Nick pleaded not guilty to all murder charges, and a few days ago, Nick's older brother, Jake, opened up for the first time about the tragic death of his parents. In a post on the social media platform Substack, Jake said, quote, "We lost more than half our family in the most violent way imaginable. Any loss of a parent is devastating, but nothing compares to losing both of them at the same time. And on top of that, having your brother be at the center of it. It's almost too impossible to process."
The Prince and Princess of Wales are marking a major milestone in their relationship today. The royal couple celebrated their 15th wedding anniversary by releasing a never-before-seen photo of the family. Molly Hunter reports from London.
I can't believe it's been 15 years, so many big life changes for the family. Of course, 3 kids, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and little Prince Louis. And we've gotten a front row seat to so much of their life over these last 15 years. Of course, the 2 met as college students at St. Andrews in Scotland, Kate famously catching young William's eye at a charity fashion show. And then, of course, their relationship bloomed and kind of boomed onto the front pages. Dating a prince under the glare of the world's media was quite an adjustment for Kate. And finally, that fairy tale wedding at Westminster Abbey in 2011. An estimated 2 billion people watched that wedding worldwide. I bet you remember where you were when you were watching it. That amazing Alexander McQueen dress designed by Sarah Burton, complete with a 9-foot-long train. And of course, she was walked down the aisle by her father, attended by her sister Pippa. And of course, in slightly different brotherly times, Prince Harry served as best man, and the day was sealed with a kiss on Buckingham Palace balcony. That we see so many fun royal events. But it's been really fun to just look back at that day, at her dress, kind of look at their whole story over the last 15 years. They posted a very sweet photo of all 5 of them taken during an Easter vacation. And it's just been a fun moment to kind of look back at the most popular royals in this country. Molly Hunter, NBC News, London.
The royal treatment here, because we are still dealing with drought conditions. We really would love it if we could get blessed with a little more rainfall. We're going to see some, but not enough.
Man, I tell you what, I don't even want to talk about it. Can I go? You want to talk about it?
You get paid to talk about it. You got to do your thing.
Gosh, but I mean, goodness gracious. The models yesterday had a big old swath of rain coming across our area right around lunchtime. And then it looked like it took a big dive to the south. And there's just nothing that's popping up. At least this morning, models showed a few isolated showers, but nothing going on out there now. This is lunchtime. We'll roll through Futurecast, and it is dry, 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 dry. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? This is not the first time that we've been watching a front that we thought would bring us rain, and it didn't. Can we talk about the last 6 months worth of it? So it's been interesting for sure. Once we get into the evening, the actual front will come through, and there will be a chance of some rain, but look how slim a chance it is. That's 9:30. That's 11:15, and everybody might see a very, very quick shower. It does look like it'll be fairly widespread, but they're tiny and they'll move fast. There is still a chance that 1 or 2 of those could produce some wind damage. We still have that level 1 risk, but the amount of rain that we see out of this is just going to be so little. Again, that level 1 risk means that there is at least a slight chance that we could have a tree down or maybe even a little bit of hail. Obviously, our burn ban continues until further notice. We did have some rain on Saturday. We did pretty well Saturday, actually. We ended up with about ½ an inch to an inch of rain, and I had high hopes that we're going to have maybe a ½ an inch out of this, and we'll be lucky to get 1/10 of an inch today. This is a look at downtown Raleigh from the Weld, which is a building over close to Dix Park. Nice view there. 65 degrees right now, southeast wind at 11, and we are likely to have maybe a break or 2 in the clouds. If we do, temperatures will jump on up into the mid-70s. That will help to destabilize the atmosphere a little bit. Right now, though, we're about 10 degrees cooler than that. 65 in Holly Springs, 65 Knightdale, 67 in Durham. These temperatures are running about 5 to 10 degrees or so warmer than this time yesterday. So possibly mid-70s, maybe even to close to 80 degrees down around Fayetteville. But any thunderstorms are going to be well after sunset, after 8 o'clock, really. 76 is our normal high, and we don't see a drop behind this front. Actually, the next time we really see a significant drop in our temperature is Saturday, and that's when we'll have our next best chance for rain. There are tricky conditions to the rain that we'll get on Saturday. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. The time that we actually see the temperatures falling behind Saturday's front, though, will be for Sunday and Monday morning. We're looking chilly again with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Our normal low is 53, and it continues to look like a huge chunk of the country over the next 6 to 10 days. We'll see temperatures below normal. Now, we do have a little bit of a warm-up by Tuesday. We're a little above normal, but it doesn't mean that temperatures won't take another dive. So Saturday right now is our greatest hope in the next 7 days for any significant rainfall. We certainly have the chance, but this is a coastal low. And if you remember us talking about coastal lows in the winter, the amount of precipitation will depend on whether that low is farther inland or farther offshore. And I'll show you Futurecast, and we'll talk more about Saturday coming up.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Well, coming up on our news this afternoon, property tax relief. We know that an effort from state lawmakers is underway to try to address housing costs, which is why today at 5, why some say it could mean school budgets get slashed.
Plus, murder aftermath. The killing of a Raleigh teacher exposed holes in the criminal justice system. Tonight at 6, the changes we've seen in Raleigh to make the city safer. And next at noon, jury duty scam. People pretending to be sheriff's deputies, and some residents say they've almost fallen for it. 5 on Your Side looks at how often this is happening and how to spot the signs. A split-second decision nearly cost a woman thousands of dollars and potentially her financial identity. She told 5 on Your Side's Alex Littlehales what happened, hoping others will see the warning signs earlier than she did.
When your 2 choices are paying up or being put behind bars.
How close were you to actually, taking
I was
out
reaching
your...
for my purse.
Nicole Sickles found thinking clearly is easier said than done. Sickles reached out to WRAL after taking a call from someone claiming to be a Wake County Sheriff's deputy. The ultimatum: pay a fine for missing jury duty or be arrested.
And you do realize that when you miss your jury duty, we send several officers out for an arrest warrant.
The mother of 5, who is currently battling cancer, admitted she would have paid if not for a last-second intervention from her daughter.
But I think the way that I'm going through my health issues right now makes me a little bit more vulnerable than the average person.
Sheriff's office, the clerk's office, nobody is going to be calling you to pay money over the phone.
So how often are scammers impersonating county deputies? Well, WRAL requested information from the Wake County Sheriff's Office. Turns out there are at least 5 confirmed cases where someone was impersonating a law enforcement officer. In total, the agency has seen 181 total fraud reports this year alone.
The Sheriff's Office is public knowledge. And so they can easily get that online.
It's true. The Wake County Sheriff's Office may reach out if you've missed jury duty, but only by written notice, not by phone. Which is why if you are on the receiving end of this kind of call, hang up immediately. You can also verify the number they say they're calling from by looking up if the number matches the agency.
That was Alex Littlehales reporting. Well, coming up in our 12:30 half-hour teen social media debate, the bill lawmakers are talking about today that could change how and when children can navigate social media. Plus, we are on drought watch. The expected rain today is much needed as Falls Lake is 3 feet below what it should be this time of year. We're going to have WRAL's Ali Kadabar explain the impact of this ongoing drought here locally. And don't worry, we did not forget your winning NC Education lottery numbers right here on your screen. Good luck.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A cold front approaching our area could bring some storms later tonight.
Yeah, but they won't last long. However, we do have a chance of storms this evening. This is something we have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking very closely in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Give us the timeline, Elizabeth.
So it looks like probably after 8 o'clock at this point. Earlier this morning, it looked like we might have some scattered showers right around lunchtime, but none of that has materialized. I do feel like once the front gets here, it's likely to interact with the moisture that we still have in place in the atmosphere. It should help to produce a small, narrow line of storms. So we're looking at that starting at around 8 and lasting until around midnight or so. However, as it moves across your area, it'll do so quickly. So we're not going to see much rain, maybe 1/10 of an inch, but we'll have some gusty, blustery winds, and we could have a tree down or two as this comes through. We'll walk through it on Futurecast coming up. It's a little breezy right now. We take a live look at Fitton and Cary. It is cloudy currently. It's 70 in Wilson and Rocky Mount, so starting to see those temperatures climb a bit. 69 in Fayetteville and in Southern Pines, and we're on our way into the mid-70s for this afternoon. If you're headed to after-school practices with your kids later on today, again, expect those temperatures to be in the mid-70s. And as long as practice is over by 7 o'clock, it should be nice and dry. It really looks like after 8 o'clock for most of us up until around midnight. But again, we'll walk through that with Futurecast and check in with our next best chance of rain on Saturday.
Sounds good, Elizabeth. We'll keep tracking that. Now, all this is happening as our area is, again, in a severe to extreme drought, something we've been watching for quite some time now. And WRAL's Ali Kadabar gives us a look at the condition of Falls Lake and shares why we need more rain soon.
We need about 10 to 12 inches of rain and about a month's time to make it out of the drought. Here at Falls Lake, we're standing on the shore, and we're not supposed to be able to stand here, but you can see with these rocks here where the water line is supposed to be. You can see that differentiation of color here. Well, this week's data shows that Falls Lake is at its lowest level ever for the month of April. It's about 3 feet below full. The WRAL Severe Weather Center expects Falls Lake to get about 1/4 of an inch of rain in the next 7 days, which isn't good. The lake is the main water source for Raleigh water customers, and that's why these use restrictions are in place. The city says water usage is down 35 million gallons compared to previous weeks. And we're expecting to get an update on the drought conditions locally and statewide with that drought monitor that comes out tomorrow. As for today, you can track the rain and the forecast on the WRAL weather app. Reporting at Falls Lake, Ali Kadabar, WRAL News.
And here in the Live Center right now, we're following some breaking news out of Durham. There is a large police investigation currently underway. We have video from the scene here where you can see EMS at this Handy Hugo's gas station on Pleasant Drive, again in Durham. Right now, we are working to gather more information on what exactly is going on here, what happened. But again, EMS at the scene, as well as law enforcement there kind of canvassing and walking around this gas station. So as soon as we learn more about what exactly happened here, we'll keep you updated here in the WRAL Live Center.
Laura, thank you. State lawmakers today advanced a bill to ban social media for some North Carolina teenagers. House Bill 301 would require users be 14 or older to have a social media account instead of 13. WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes listened to members of the state Senate talk about this bill today. Elizabeth, they say this is all about keeping children safe.
Yeah, lawmakers behind this bill say this is to protect children from predators online and to minimize the negative psychological effects of being on social media. Most social media platforms require users to be at least 13 years old to use them, so this would make children have to wait another year. It would also require parents and guardians to give permission for 14 and 15-year-olds to have an account. The bill would also fine social media companies up to $50,000 if they allow someone underage to make an account. And families under the bill could sue companies up to $10,000 for a violation. Lawmakers said they also want app stores to have age verification before someone even downloads the app. That would add another layer of protection. An attorney representing Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, was there today in support.
Meta will support and is very proud to support an app store age verification. We think that's the best way to make sure that all of the apps, not just the good players, like Facebook and Instagram, but the smaller ones, the international ones, don't end up becoming a workaround where young people, can't get on Facebook or can't get on Instagram because their age is properly being verified. So then they go to this new program and can falsify their age and do it there.
Now, those similar bills in other states have gotten pushback, saying this violates free speech and access to information. Lawmakers today said this bill is drawing bipartisan support. The state Senate's Education Committee this morning voted to give the bill a favorable review, and that would send it to the next committee. And you can read details of the bill at WRAL.com.
North Carolina lawmakers gathered at the state legislature today, highlighting the Asian American community's rapid growth and priorities this session. Advocates are pushing legislation on housing affordability, voting access, and expanding Asian American studies in schools.
We need to commit to building coalitions across cultures, language, and lived experience, because division is made by design.
Another focus is passing a statewide hate crimes law. Leaders say it would fund training for investigators and prosecutors and improve how hate crimes are tracked.
Your time is 12:34 this afternoon. Drug Take Back, how Durham County safely collected hundreds of unused medication and where you can drop yours off.
Bus driver emergency. We will explain how some middle schoolers came to the rescue when their bus driver passed out at the wheel.
Make sure you stay informed while you're on the go, and you can do that with downloading the updated version of the WRAL News app.
Our teacher of the week always knew she wanted a career in the classroom.
Yeah, WRAL's Ken Smith is at Westview Elementary School in Garner to recognize a dedicated kindergarten teacher.
All right, macaroni and cheese. Okay.
Tony Williams' journey to the classroom took a different turn in college, but she never gave up on her dream to become a teacher.
I actually went to college for criminal justice. So that's what my bachelor's degree is in, but teaching and children just has always been a passion of mine. All right, y'all ready for another one? Yeah! All right, next one.
Ms. Williams is acutely aware kindergarten is a pivotal time for her young students, and her goal is to provide a learning environment where they can thrive and be excited about coming to school.
I want to make it fun. I want their first year coming into school to be fun. I want learning to be fun, and hopefully they can continue that and enjoy learning as they go on through school. Hold up the correct sign.
What's especially gratifying for Ms. Williams is seeing the transformation of her young students over the course of a school year.
When they first come in, seeing what they don't know and what they do know, and then at the end of the year before they go off to first grade, seeing that growth that they have made is what's making me like, yeah, okay, I was meant to do this.
Ms. Williams, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give her a big round of applause, class.
What an awesome teacher. And if you know your own awesome teacher, go ahead and nominate them on WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Stepping up, middle school students take control when their bus driver has a medical emergency. The quick actions that may have saved her life.
Superheroes take over. WakeMed Children's Hospital transforms into a real-life comic book scene. The special moment giving kids a chance to feel like heroes themselves. We have some breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center now. A man has been charged for secret peeping as well as indecent exposure at a Kohl's in Apex. This is who we're talking about here, 25-year-old Brian Cruz. According to court documents, it says that he used a device to secretly view, photograph or record the private areas of the victim without her knowledge and consent, while such areas were concealed or not otherwise visible to the public for the purpose of arousing or gratifying sexual desire. Again, according to court documents this noon, he's been charged with felony secret peeping, sexual battery, and indecent exposure.
OpenAI will get new freedoms under a revised partnership agreement with Microsoft. Basically, Microsoft has had control over OpenAI's intellectual property and some exclusive deals since 2019. Well, that relationship became a little strained last year as the AI race picked up and competition increased. Under this new agreement, OpenAI can partner with Microsoft's competitors. Most importantly, OpenAI will be able to limit Microsoft's access to its future technology.
The Durham County Sheriff's Office says it has collected more than 300 pounds of medications during a drug take-back event. That included prescription fentanyl, morphine, and other opioids and amphetamines. Now, if you missed out on the event, the Sheriff's Office says you can bring in unused medications to the Durham County Courthouse. There will be a drop box in the lobby that's accessible during business hours. Middle school students saving the day, caught on camera. A school bus driver in Mississippi passed out while the bus was in motion, and several students stepped in to save her. One student grabbed the wheel while another hit the brakes. Another grabbed the bottle of medicine in the driver's hand and gave her a pill. Other students called 911. They say it was a team effort. At last check, the driver, by the way, is doing fine, and she thanked the students for saving her life. Everybody was safe.
Oh, goodness gracious. Good for those students, though, stepping in. They're kind of like superheroes, and there are some other superheroes to talk about. DC and Marvel fans uniting for a great cause. WakeMed Children's Hospital was transformed into a superhero world. Cape Crusaders rappelled down the side of the building, while patients inside dressed up like their favorite characters. Families say the celebration gives kids a chance to just be kids.
To see him happy with a beautiful smile on his face every day. And you're going to keep talking about it over and over and over.
You get to see them like kind of turn into this like different persona almost too, like especially with it being like superhero. Like our kids are always superheroes, but like when they get to come out and be a kid, you get to see them be playful, you get to see them smile, and you get to see them play with each other.
There were also snacks and face painting, and then later in the day, the superheroes made special visits to other children who couldn't leave their rooms.
That just touches the heart and makes you smile, doesn't it? Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Seeing some rain would certainly make us smile, right? And we're waiting on that, Elizabeth. There's more that may be coming.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We're hoping. This one just, is probably not going to exceed expectations. But looking ahead to Saturday, that may be our next best hope. So we really haven't seen much rain fire up in front of this system that's heading across the mountains and into our area. It's likely to come on through between 8 and midnight along with the front. And that's when we could have our best chance for rain. It looks pretty dry between now and then. That's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We push it on ahead. We might even see a few breaks in the the clouds, if we see a little bit of sunshine, that actually gives us an increased chance of some thunderstorms this evening because it helps to energize and destabilize the atmosphere. At 8 o'clock, you can start to see one or two of these little cells pop up. There's 9:30. Notice the coverage isn't great. Maybe that, at least half of us see one of these little cells coming through, but our best chance of rain, maybe a 1/10 of an inch. Now, it may be fairly blustery and windy as this comes on through. You may notice it 11 o'clock at night. If you're already asleep, it might wake you up because it's windy and there may be some rumbles of thunder along with it. And it's possible that it would be strong enough in terms of the winds to knock down a tree or two, especially south and east of the triangle. But this is just not going to be a huge system, at least in terms of rain. Saturday, a whole nother situation. It's not a cold front coming through. It's a coastal low. And you've heard us talk about the coastal lows, and it all depends on how close to the coast or how far inland this low comes as to how much rain we'll see. If it's farther offshore, we just don't see a whole lot, or at least not a whole lot from Raleigh northward. But right now, it looks like we'd have a much better chance of widespread showers. This is going to be more of a rain event without so much in terms of those scattered thunderstorm cells. So let's start in the afternoon on Friday. There's 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. It's possible that Friday night after midnight, we would see just a few passing showers, and then the bulk of it comes in between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. This version of Futurecast makes us, very hopeful that we'll see a decent amount of rain with this. There's 11 o'clock. We'll roll it on through to 2 o'clock and then 5 o'clock. And then after that, it just gradually tapers off. But that's a good chunk of the day where we have rainfall. Obviously, we're not going to see much rain here today, maybe a 1/10 of an inch. Maybe our far southern counties, if some of those cells get cranked up there, we have a better chance maybe of at least a 1/2 inch in Fayetteville. But again, it just kind of depends on how far inland this comes. That's sort of a worst case scenario. I think we have the potential for some higher rainfall totals if it ends up tracking a little farther to the north. Of course, we're in desperate need of some rain. How much rain do we need to end the drought? Well, this map shows, of course, a lot of different sectors in our viewing area. Basically, we need about 10 to almost 15 inches of rain in a month's time to end the drought. And that's practically impossible this time of year. Burn ban until further notice, obviously, because we're still just not seeing any rain anytime soon. Tomorrow, the drought monitor comes out. I'm not sure if we'll see any more of our viewing area move into extreme drought. Extreme is in the north. They're in red, and then everybody else in severe drought. So let's talk temperatures that go along with this. Temperatures kind of holding steady, except for Saturday and Sunday. It will be a little bit cooler, especially Saturday with the rain. We're back into the upper 60s on Sunday. If you have weekend plans, Sunday looks better than Saturday.
All right, we'll be watching and hoping for a lot more rain that's being forecasted. Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, just ahead after the break, Nose for Tech. A canine dog is bringing a unique set of skills to the police force. How his role is key to investigations.
Here are your winning Mega Millions numbers: 14, 36, 41, 47, and 66. The gold Mega Ball is 15. Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we have been monitoring this live camera outside of the courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. As we know, former FBI Director James Comey is expected to surrender to authorities and appear in federal court for his initial court appearance this afternoon. Of course, it is possible that he enters in a different side of the building to avoid the cameras. But Comey was indicted yesterday in North Carolina on 2 counts related to threats against the president for a 2025 Instagram post of seashells that displayed 8647. Comey says the image of the 8647 in the sand was innocent, and he plans to fight the charges. Here are some of the other stories we're following today. New at noon, a Durham man is accused of assaulting 2 Cary officers, dragging them with his car. Damian Awkward faces several charges, including assault with a deadly weapon on an officer, resisting arrest, and no operator's license. Warrants show Awkward tried to put his Toyota Corolla in drive while an officer was trying to get him out of the vehicle. He's set to appear in court today. We will bring you updates as we learn more.
Today, a renewed push to raise the age to buy tobacco products in our state to 21. State lawmakers held a press conference, and they're pushing a stalled bill aimed at protecting youth from vaping and nicotine. Dozens of students met with lawmakers to highlight the dangers, and the measure would raise the minimum age to buy tobacco products in the state to 21, aligning North Carolina with federal law. Right now, that state minimum is 18.
State lawmakers today advanced a bill to ban social media for some North Carolina teenagers. House Bill 301 would require that users be at least 14 years old to have an account instead of 13. It would also require parents and guardians to give permission for 14 and 15-year-olds to have an account. The state Senate's Education Committee voted to give the bill a favorable review today, sending it to the next committee.
The Olympics has its first bank as a global partner. JP Morgan Chase is partnering with the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Summer Games, as well as the French Alps 2030 Winter Games. It'll be the official bank of Team USA and the LA 28 Games. The bank will also be a founding partner of the Games. Athletes will be offered financial health workshops because of this collaboration. And Simone Biles says that she is 50-50 about competing in the 2028 Olympics. Will she be there? The 29-year-old gymnast has been taking a break from that sport to allow her body to heal. Mental health also plays a huge role in her decision. She has been very open about that. Biles has again been talking about her struggles since her experience at the Tokyo Olympics, and she says that experience led her to therapy and wider conversations about mental health in sports.
A canine officer in Philadelphia has a unique set of skills that sets him apart. This is Cash. He's a 2-year-old Labrador who can find small electronics like an AirTag with his nose. Police say he can detect the smells the devices give off and then locate them. He was donated to the department from the U.S. Secret Service. Officers say Cash is key to finding evidence for their investigations.
Good old Cash. Well, hey, our pet of the day is Jack-o'-lantern from Cat Angels Pet Adoption. Jack is a 1-year-old small black cat with a personality that shines like his name. Full of mischief and some charm, he's always ready to pounce on a rogue shoelace or even send a pen tumbling. He's the middle of 3 brothers and is known for his late-night wrestling message and, of course, surprise sneak attacks. Jack enjoys sitting in a sunny windowsill and, of course, spending time in his owner's lap. If you want to meet this cat in person, you can fill out the application on the Cat Angels website on your screen.
Getting ready for round 2 in the playoffs. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, we are checking in on the Canes as they wait to find out who they will match up against next in their quest for the Stanley Cup. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
As you continue to watch for the rain like we're doing, make sure you download the WRAL weather app, and that way you can keep your eye on the dual Doppler 5000 radar, the same type of technology our meteorologists use to help predict where that rain is coming. We need rain. Let's make sure we look out for it. Be sure you can also keep up with some breaking news anytime with the WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.